Hello, my dear students. In the last polytronic lectures, we have started our discussion regarding importance of polytronics. Then we have discussed various power semiconductor devices like SCR, CTO, DIAC, TRIAC, IGBT, their working and VI characteristics of the different devices. Then we discussed the commutation methods which are adapted for SCR. Mainly, the commutation methods are used to turn off of the SCR. Turn off means to make the thyristor into off. Means forward conduction state to bringing the thyristor from forward conduction state to forward blocking state. So we are bringing the anode current of the thyristor from forward conduction state to forward blocking state. The anode current will be reduced to below the holding current. That is called a commutation process. For that, we used two types of techniques, mainly natural commutation and forced commutation. Whenever the supply is AC, then we are using natural commutation techniques. Whenever we are having DC supply systems, so in that case, we are going for forced commutation systems. So different forced commutations are there. That discussion we have made in detail in the last classes. In this class, we are going to discuss mainly regarding the turn-on process. We have already discussed the SCR is a controlled device. SCR will be having control in the conduction of the device. That means whenever the device SCR is in forward bias, the device may not be in conduction mode. It is in forward blocking mode. To make the conduction of the SCR, we are using different techniques. So how to make a turn on of the SCR? That means how to make the device from forward blocking state to forward conduction state. How to bring the device from forward blocking state to forward conduction state. So this process is called a turn on process. Turn on process or a triggering process. Triggering of the SCR is defined as switching the SCR from forward blocking state to forward conduction state. That is from off state to on state is known as turn on process. It is also known as triggering of the device. To conduct the SCR, different methods are there. We are going to discuss those methods in detail. In that, mainly forward voltage triggering, temperature triggering, dV by dt triggering, light triggering, gate triggering. So these are the different methods which are available, and these methods will have some own disadvantages, concern advantages. So depending on suitability, we are using concern technique for proper operation. That first one, voltage forward voltage triggering means whenever the SCR is forward biased, for all the turning on process, we need the device has to be forward biased. In this forward bias technique, mainly the SCR will be having four layers: PN, PN, three junctions, J1, J2, J3. So in that, once the SCR is forward biased, we have seen the construction in the construction of SCR. The junction J1 and J3 will be forward biased. Forward biased. Whenever the junction J1 and J3 is forward biased, junction J2 is reverse biased. Whenever SCR is forward biased, junction J2 is reverse biased. So when we are increasing the forward bias supply voltage, the depletion layer of the junction J2 will be increasing continuously. At one stage, the junction will break down. Avalanche breakdown occurs at junction J2 and the device conducts. That method is called forward voltage triggering. So whenever the positive supply voltage of the SCR exceeds the breakdown voltage of the junction J2, then the device starts conducting. So that method of triggering of SCR is called forward voltage triggering. So in this, by increasing forward anode to cathode voltage, the depletion layer width will be increased at junction J2, and this is also causing increasing minority charge carriers, which will accelerate the voltage at junction J2. This further leads to an avalanche breakdown of junction J2 and forward breakover whenever the supply voltage exceeds the forward breakover voltage. The next method is temperature triggering. This is also turning on method, one of the method. By increasing the temperature at junction J2, so which will causes the breakdown of junction J2 and it allows the conduction through the device. The triggering occurs sometimes, some circumstances, particularly when the device temperature is more, it may cause false triggering. So that's why this triggering is not used in practical cases because it may cause thermal runaway. Hence, the device may be damaged. Actually, whenever the temperature of junction increases, it may cause breakdown or it conducts or it may conduct the device. Sometimes, by using this technique, there is a maloperation of the device due to surrounding temperatures and it may cause thermal runaway across the device. That's why we are not using this technique. Next one is dv by dt triggering. So in this technique, the junctions J1 and J3 will be forward biased, J2 will be reverse biased. So these three junctions will behave like a capacitor, and whenever the device is forward biased, a charging current will be flowing through the device. I is equal to C dV by dt. So whenever the change of voltage appeared across the device with respect to time increases, current will be flowing and the device may get to turn on without gate signal because the value of alpha increases. So accordingly, the device may turn on. So next technique will be light triggering. Light triggering. So this operation will be generally in LASCR, light activated silicon control rectifier. In this, the SCR will be turned on by light radiations. So it is called a light activated SCR. This type of triggering will be employed in phase controlled converters, mainly used in HVDC systems. In this, light rays will be projected and it will be striking on junction J2, which are having sufficient wavelength and intensity. And mainly, this rays will be placed on nick, which is placed in the inner p layer. Therefore, when the device light struck on the nick, electron hole pairs will be generated at junction J2, so which will provide additional charge carriers at junction and which will lead to turn on the SCR. So whenever light rays are projected on the nick, which is placed in the inner layer of the device, then the electron hole pairs will be generated, which will make the turn on of the SCR. So it will be used in LASCRs, LASCR, light activated silicon control rectifier. So it will be generally used in street lighting In street lighting, so whenever the light intensity will changes, accordingly the device will conduct and it will turn on the main power supply to the street lighting systems. Next, gate triggering. So this is the most common and efficient method which is used to turn on the SCR. So in this, whenever the SCR is forward biased, a sufficient voltage at gate terminal injects some electrons into junction J2. Means we are applying gate to cathode voltage. Already the device SCR is forward biased. Anode to cathode voltage we are appearing. The anode to cathode voltage will be increased, and at the same time whenever the device is forward biased, we are applying gate to cathode voltage. So which will inject some electrons into the junction J2. So this results in increasing reverse leakage current and hence the breakdown of junction J2 even at a voltage which is lower than breakover voltage. So this method is called gate triggering. Depending on size of SCR, generally the gate current will be in the order of milliamperes to few milliamperes to 200 milliamperes. The gate current applied is more, then more electrons will be injected into junction J2 and results to come into conduction state much earlier. Gate triggering method. In gate triggering method, a positive voltage applied between gate to cathode terminals. Device is forward biased. Gate to cathode is also forward biased. And the forward biasing of gate will be mainly by using different signals. First one is by using DC signals, second one by using AC signals, and third one is pulse signals. So the most efficient one is by using pulse signals. So three methods in gate triggering methods. We are using different signals to turn on the SCR. Those are DC signal, AC signal, third one pulse signal. So we can use all the things, but due to reduce the power loss at gate drive, generally we are using the pulse signals to turn on the SCR. Once the SCR is fired, the gate won't have any control. That's why instead of sending continuous signal, by sending pulse signal to turn on the SCR will be most efficient method for conduction of the SCR. The next topic, very important, generally we are using the method to turn on the SCR is SCR triggered by UJT, unijunction transistor. Turning on of the SCR by using UJT. So we are going to discuss in detail how to turn on the SCR by using UJT, unijunction transistor. So this is the connection diagram to turn on the SCR by using UJT. These are the concerned waveforms. The figure A will show the control circuit which will be used for turn on the SCR by using UJT. These are the concerned waveforms for turning on of the SCR. So we are going to discuss in detail regarding the circuit operation of the device. Here, here in the circuit we are having a DC supply. A DC supply. It will be connected to a switch, and here we are having two resistors R1 and R2. This R1 will be connected to capacitor C1. In between, here we are having terminal P. This supply will be connected to UJT through resistance R2, and here we are forming a potential bridge circuit, and this will be connected to thyristor circuit. Thyristor will be connected to AC supply. AC supply, here it will be phase it is neutral. And from SCR we have connected a resistance, load resistance RL. From this it is connected to positive terminal of thyristor, and from it is connected to negative terminal of thyristor. So this SCR gate terminal will be connected to relaxation circuit, UJT relaxation circuit. In this constraint, we need to take one thing into consideration. The same DC supply we have to provide from the same AC supply, that we have to rectify, and we have to give a proper operation of the circuit. Here, DC supply will be connected to resistance R1. So it is a variable resistor. Depending on the value of resistance, the charging of capacitor will be takes place. So whenever we are closing the switch, the current will be flowing through the capacitor. In this closed path, the capacitor will be charging. Capacitor will be charging this closed path. Supply positive terminal through switch, and the resistance R1 terminal P, then capacitor back to supply negative terminal. In this closed path, the capacitor will be charging. Whenever the capacitor is charging, the voltage across the capacitor will be increases. Whenever the capacitor voltage increases and it reaches the peak value, the voltage across the capacitor will turn on the UJT. Whenever the UJT turns on, the capacitor voltage will be discharged through UJT, and the voltage drop appears across the resistance R3. Capacitor is charges. Whenever the UJT conducts, that's capacitor discharges from capacitor terminal, positive terminal, point P, emitter terminal of UJT, then B1 terminal of UJT, then resistance R3, back to capacitor C1. So in this closed path, the capacitor discharges. The capacitor fastly discharges. So whenever the capacitor discharges, there will be a small amount of voltage drop across the resistor R3. Resistor R3 will experience a voltage drop. So like this is the voltage drop across resistor R3. So this will be appeared as a pulse across the gate terminal of the SCR. Gate terminal of the SCR. So whenever the supply appeared across the thyristor, so depending on the value setting of resistance R1, rate of charging at capacitor C1 will be adjusted. Whenever the capacitor charges to peak value, it will conduct the UJT. Then the capacitor discharges. When capacitor discharges, there will be a voltage drop across R3. So this voltage drop will be appeared as a pulse across gate to cathode junction of SCR. So this pulse will be appeared across the gate to cathode junction of SCR. Already the SCR will be connected from main AC supply through load resistance RL. The SCR will be connected in series with load resistance RL and the supply. So supply SCR is already forward biased. SCR is forward biased, and we are applying the gate signal in the form of pulses. So the device will be conducting, and current flows through SCR through supply P terminal is load resistance, anode terminal of SCR, cathode terminal of SCR, and back to supply negative. So in this closed path, the current will be flowing once the SCR is in conduction. So this is how the UJT relaxation oscillator circuit will be used for conducting the SCR by providing the gate pulses. So here the supply will be taken from the same AC source by rectifying for a proper operation of SCR to produce pulses at a correct interval of time. So here DC supply will be appeared by closing the switch. So whenever the switch is closed, the current will be flowing. The current intensity, magnitude of current will be adjusted by properly setting the variable resistance R1. So according to the value of resistance R1, the rate of charging of capacitance will be changes. So when our switch is closed, the capacitor charges, it reaches to peak value. Whenever the capacitor reaches to peak value, then the voltage across capacitor will turn on the UJT. The UJT conducts, then the capacitor discharges. The capacitor voltage will be reduces. So this voltage will be appeared in the form of pulse across the gate terminal of SCR. This pulse will be appeared across gate to cathode terminal of SCR. As SCR is already forward biased, the device will conduct and current flows through the SCR. So in this manner, we are turning on the SCR. So this is the conduction process of the SCR by using UJT relaxation oscillator. So these waveforms represent the voltage across the capacitor. The voltage across the capacitor will be increasing up to peak point depending on the value of resistance R1. So this is depending on rate of charging. The magnitude of capacitor will be increasing. It reaches to maximum value, and whenever the UJT conducts, the capacitor will discharge. Again, the cycle repeats: charging, discharging, not charging, discharging. So whenever the capacitor is discharging, the current will be flowing in this closed path. Capacitor, point P, emitter terminal of UJT, B1 terminal of UJT, resistance R3, again back to capacitor. So whenever current is flowing in this closed path, small voltage will be appeared across the resistance R3 as a voltage drop. So this voltage will be appeared as gate voltage across the SCR. So with this pulses, SCR will conduct. So these are the gate input given to SCR in the form of pulses. So this is how the UJT circuit will be operating as a relaxation oscillator for turning on of the SCR. Firing angle control of SCR by UJT is shown in above figure. Whenever the switch is on, the charging of capacitor is done through resistance R1. When the voltage across capacitor becomes equal to peak point, the UJT turns on. As soon as UJT turns on, the gate of SCR receives gate pulse through resistance R4, which results SCR to turn on. The load gets supplied through path P, RL, anode, cathode, and the N terminal of SCR. The discharging path of capacitor is done through C1, P, E, P1, R3, C1. Charging and discharging waveforms of the capacitor C1 is shown in figure. Whenever the voltage across capacitor becomes equal to 2.0, the UJT turns off and the capacitor once again starts charging. Charging rate of capacitor decreases as the resistance R1 increases. This results increase of firing angle and the load current decreases. firing angle has different values in each positive half cycle because the UJT gets DC supply and the SCR gets AC supply, so that there is no synchronism between them. In order to keep firing angle equal during each positive half cycle, UJT gets DC supply from the same source as that given to SCR. AC supply is converted into DC supply before it is given to UJT. There is no filter used during this conversion of AC supply into DC supply. The load receives supply only during positive half cycles. Therefore, it is called SCR triggering by UJT half wave circuit. So this is regarding turning on process of SCR by using UJT. So this is the partial completion of chapter 1. In this, we are mainly discussed the importance of polyphonic devices, different polyphonic devices. Mainly, we are focused on thyristor family devices. In that, we are focused on SCR. SCR, it's turning on methods and turning off methods, that is triggering methods and commutation techniques which we are using to turn on the SCR and turn off the SCR. We have mainly discussed this important question, how to conduct the SCR by using UJT. Very important question. Frequently in exams they are asking how to trigger the SCR by using UJT. And we have also discussed different commutation methods, natural commutation method and forced commutation methods. Natural commutation method we are using whenever the AC supply is available. Whenever we are operating with the DC supply, we are going for forced commutation techniques. In that, we have discussed class A commutation, so that is called load commutation. Class B commutation, it is called self commutated by using LC circuit. Next, we have discussed class C commutation. It is called LC switched by another load carrying CR. We have discussed class D commutation, voltage commutation method, and we have discussed class E commutation, that is external pulse source. The last one is that natural commutation. So these methods we discussed. So accordingly, the suitability of working environment, we are adapting the suitable circuit. Then we have discussed other power training devices like GTO, DIAC, TRIAC, IGBT, their construction and operation. That thing we have mainly focused on this chapter. So very important thing what we learned in this chapter is SCR will be used in power circuits. So with this we are having controlling the circuit operation, and the amount of power required for operation of circuit will be reduced. So the control in the circuit will be obtained by providing gate signal to the SCR at suitable instant. So depending on the instant of gate signal, at the instant where we are giving gate signal, the device will be in conduction. And whenever we require turning off of the device, for that we are providing additional commutation circuit. With that, we are turning off of the device. So those things we discussed, and we have also discussed other power training devices like DIAC, TRIAC, IGBT, GTO, their construction characteristics, importance, and concerned applications we have seen. So in that, the fast acting switch will be MOSFET. So the switching speed of MOSFET will be very high compared to other devices. So very important, and frequently competitive exams they are asking the question. MOSFET will be acting like a fast acting switch, and IGBT will be having low switching losses. This is the partial completion of chapter 1. So these topics we have discussed regarding SCR. and other power electronic devices. So before going to chapter 2, we need to focus on these things clearly. We need to understand these topics clearly for getting clear understanding on chapter 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh, let's go through this. We will go small multiple choice bit questions right now. So these are IGBT possesses option A, low input impedance, high input impedance, high on-state resistance, second breakdown problem. IGBT possesses, so it is the combination device, like it is having the advantages of MOSFET and power BJT. So the MOSFET will be having high input impedance. So option will be, it is having high input impedance, low on-state voltage drop. So answer will be B. MOSFET IGBT possesses high input impedance. Next question. IGBT and BJT both possesses low on-state power losses, high on-state power losses, low switching losses, high input impedance. So IGBT and BJT will be having low on-state power losses. So answer will be A. Low on-state power loss is one of the best parameters of both power BJT and IGBT. The terminals of IGBT are base emitter collector, gate source drain, gate emitter collector, base source drain. So it is a combination device of MOSFET and power BJT. So the terminals which will be gate, gate, so it is isolated, and emitter collector, these are from BJT. So gate emitter collectors are terminals of insulated gate bipolar transistor. Option C. So it is having three terminals: gate, emitter, and collector. In IGBT, the P plus layer connected to the collector terminal is called as a drift layer, injection layer, body layer, collector layer. So it will be acting like a injecting layer. Injecting layer. So it is called the injecting layer because it injects holes into N minus layer. The controlling parameter of IGBT is IG, VGE, IC, VCE. So it is a voltage control device. It is controlled by gate emitter voltage. Controlling parameter is the gate to emitter voltage as the device is voltage control device, VGE. The thyristor SCR is a PNP device, NPN device, PNPN device, PN device. Actually, SCR is a four layer device. The layers are PNPN. Option C. An SCR is a four layer PNPN type device. Which terminal does not belong to SCR? Anode, gate, base, cathode. SCR is a three terminal device mainly. Anode, cathode, gate. Base is not there. It is in transistor. So option C is correct answer. It is not belong to SCR. Base is not belong to SCR. SCR having three terminals: anode, cathode, gate. Your answer is C. Base is not available in SCR terminals. Choose the false statement. SCR is a bidirectional device. SCR is a control device. SCR, in SCR the gate is the controlling terminal. SCR is used for high power applications. So actually SCR is a unidirectional device. It will conduct from anode to cathode. So current flows only in one direction. In reverse bias, there won't be any operation of the device. So that's why the option A will be the false statement. SCR is a bidirectional device with a false statement. Actually, SCR is a unidirectional device. The current will be flowing only one direction from anode to cathode. So option A. Explanation: it is a unidirectional device. Current flows only from anode to cathode. In SCR, the in SCR in the SCR structure, the gate terminal is located nearer to anode terminal, nearer to cathode terminal, in between anode and cathode terminal, none of the mentioned. Actually, in the structure, the gate terminal will be located nearer the cathode cathode terminal. Here we are having cathode terminal, and beside that we are having gate terminal. So answer is B, nearer to cathode terminal. In the structure, gate terminal will be located nearer to cathode terminal. So answer is B. The gate is located nearer the cathode because it allows fast turning on of the device when the gate signal is applied by forward biasing the second junction. Actually, the junctions J1 and J3 are already forward biased. The only junction is J2 is reverse biased. So whenever we are providing the gate signal, J2 will be forward biased and the conduction starts. So to fast conduction of the device, we are providing the gate terminal nearer to cathode. cathode. So further multiple choice questions, please you go through the link. So here we are having few number of multiple choice questions for better revision of topics which we have gone through. So it will be more useful. So I request you to go through the multiple choice questions and try to answer so that you will get more clarity on this chapter. So with this lecture, we have completed the chapter 1 of power electronics, power electronic devices. So in this, we have mainly discussed regarding the main advantage of these power electronic devices. That is how we are getting the control. For proper operating of devices, we need mainly two supplies. One is a forward bias supply of the device, and another thing generally we are using to turn on the devices, gate circuit. The gate circuit has to be forward biased. So whenever both will be available simultaneously, the conduction through the device will starts. In all power electronic devices, same type of working will be there. So that thing we have clearly understand, and we have seen the concerned structure, representation, working, and characteristics of the different power electronic devices in detail. And in this, we have mainly focused on triggering methods, turning on methods of SCR, and turning off. Turning off methods are called commutation methods of SCR in detail. In detail, we have discussed in this chapter power electronic devices. Please, all of you, go through this chapter and understand the concepts clearly for further chapters. In the next class, in the next video lecture, we will discuss converters and choppers. Converters and choppers. How to convert AC into DC or DC into AC. Mainly in converters, we are focusing on conversion process from alternating current to direct current. So, what are the different converters are there? Single phase, depending on supply and depending on operation, different converters are there. What how circuit operation will be there? how to convert AC into DC for different load conditions we are going to discuss. Then choppers. Choppers are nothing but a device which will convert DC into another form of DC. DC at one magnitude to DC at another magnitude, whether may be increased or decreased. That is, whenever the voltage magnitude increases, we will call it as step up chopper. Whenever the magnitude decreases, we will call it as step down chopper. So, what is step up chopper? What is step down chopper? What will be the working principle? And what are the different methods to control the operation of chopper? That is pulse width modulation technique and variable frequency control. Then we will discuss classifications of chopper. Similarly, class A, class B, class C, class D, class C. And then we will discuss applications of converters and choppers. That we will discuss in detail in chapter 2, converters and choppers. So before discussing, we need basics of this chapter 1. So how to conduct SCR, how to commutate SCR. So these two things we require for better understanding of those topics, converters and choppers. So I request all of you to go through these video lectures in detail so that we can understand the remaining concept of power electronics in a better way. And if you have any questions, you can ask me in comment box so that we will discuss in further classes. Thank you all of you for your patient listening of this lecture. Thank you all of you.